next module is all about how to express would be able to. The sound for this in Spanish is podría. So podría means I would be able to. Of course, instead of I would be able to, you can also say I could. So either I could or I would be able to, both of those are covered with the sound of podría in Spanish. Now, this is a very powerful, very useful modal verb. So just like all the others, you can take podría and add on pretty much any full verb that you like. For example, if we wanted to say, I could do it, it would be podría hacerlo. Of course, this could also mean I would be able to do it. Either way, podría hacerlo. Notice that we also have an accent over the I here. So this is where you're going to stress the word. It's very important in your pronunciation that you say podría in order to be understood. How would you say, I could tell you? Podría decirte. I could buy it. Podría comprarlo. Do you remember the verb to help? Ayudar. I could help you. Podría ayudarte. What about the verb to go? Ir. I could go with you. Podría ir contigo. What's the verb to sell? Vender. I could sell it. Podría venderlo. Do you remember the verb to recommend? Recomendar. How would you say, I could recommend something? Podría recomendar algo. What about the verb to repair? Reparar. How would you say, I could repair it? Podría repararlo. Once again, remember that podría stands for I could, but also I would be able to. And if we went back through all of those examples again, we could easily substitute I would be able to in place of I could. Now, the good news is that the sound of podría stands for I could, but it will also stand for he, she, or it could. That means that we're dealing with a very powerful sound in Spanish. Podría can stand for 4 angles at once. I could, he could, she could, or it could. Of course, in the context of the sentence or the conversation, it's normally clear which one you mean. But if it isn't clear, you can of course make it clear. And to do that, you would simply put yo, él, or ella in front of it. So, yo podría, I could, or I would be able to. This is now crystal clear which angle you mean. Equally, he could or he would be able to, él podría. She could or she would be able to, ella podría. Although this is what we will typically do in English, remember that native Spanish speakers will not do this unless it is absolutely necessary, unless they really need to make it clear. Otherwise, they will simply say podría for all 4 angles. In part 2, I'd like to fill out the other angles of this modal verb, and we'll do it as a live demonstration. So we'll begin with our sound here of podría, which is I could, he, she, or it could. Now for you could, all you do is add an S, so the sound becomes podrías. You could or you would be able to. For they could, of course, this goes to an N, so the sound is podrían. They could, they would be able to. The last one we need is for we, and of course we'll use our mos sound for we, so we have podríamos. We could, we would be able to. Podríamos. If we put it all on one slide, it would look like this. Podría, podrías, podría, podríamos, podrían. As you can hear, once you have that sound of podría, it's very easy to arrive to all the other angles. I'd like you to pause this slide and to go up and down it a few times until you feel comfortable. Then continue with the lesson and we'll start to use it with different verbs. So let's run a drill. How would you say, I could sell it? Podría venderlo. They could visit us tomorrow. Podrían visitarnos mañana. Could you do it? ¿Podrías hacerlo? What is the word for there is or there are? I. And the word for time in Spanish is tiempo. El tiempo. How would you say, if there's time, we could tell them today? Si hay tiempo, podríamos decirles hoy. How would you say it could arrive today? Podría llegar hoy. She would be able to prepare something interesting. Podría preparar algo interesante. Notice here that in English we have she would be able to quite a lot, but in Spanish all of this is expressed with podría. Let's try some more. They would be able to recommend something better. The word for better is mejor. Podrían recomendar algo mejor. Once again, all of this in English, they would be able to, is expressed with one word in Spanish, podrían. I know you could study more. Sé que podrías estudiar más. They could help me. Podrían ayudarme. We could copy it. Podríamos copiarlo. I could go there with you later. Podría ir allí contigo más tarde. Would you be able to find it? ¿Podrías encontrarlo? We would be able to create something new. Podríamos crear algo nuevo. She could buy it. Podría comprarlo. He could order it today. Podría ordenarlo hoy. He could have it for you tomorrow. Podría tenerlo para ti mañana. I could use it. Podría usarlo. Could you repair it? ¿Podrías repararlo? We could speak with her later. Podríamos hablar con ella más tarde. I could cancel it. Podría cancelarlo. In this next one, you're going to have to make a choice between ser and estar. The phrase is, she could be famous. Now here is where the choice is going to have to be made over be. So are you going to use ser or estar here? Try to translate it. Podría ser famosa. Two things here. We're going with the verb ser because this belongs to her identity. Being famous is how other people see you, how they would describe you, belongs to your identity. So this is why I went with ser and not estar. Secondly, I hope you remembered to use famosa instead of famoso because of course we're referring to she. To finish off this lesson, I'd like to talk about I wouldn't be able to. How would you say that? no podría. So podría, I would be able to. No podría, I wouldn't be able to. An example of how we would use this could be something like, without your help, I wouldn't be able to do it. Now you'll also hear native English speakers express it with, without your help, I couldn't do it. Or, I couldn't do it without your help. However, for the purposes of this course, I would like you to avoid saying I couldn't, and always go with the longer version of I wouldn't be able to. The reason I'm asking you to do this will become clearer later on in the course. So let's try that sentence. First of all, we need the phrase without your help. The word for without in Spanish is sin. And your help would be tu ayuda. You can clearly see the connection to the verb ayudar here. And the word help is a noun because you can say the help. Tu ayuda would be your help. So putting it together, without your help would be sin tu ayuda. Now, I wonder if you can do the rest. Without your help, I wouldn't be able to do it. Sin tu ayuda, no podría hacerlo. Let's rephrase this. How would you say, I wouldn't be able to do it without your help? No podría hacerlo sin tu ayuda. I realize that it can feel strange putting all of this, I wouldn't be able to, into one word in Spanish, or two words here, no podría, but with practice you'll get used to it. Let's try one more and just switch out the verbs. How would you say, without your help, I wouldn't be able to pay it? Sin tu ayuda, no podría pagarlo. So remember, in the negative, I want you to avoid using couldn't, and instead go with wouldn't be able to in English. Again, the reason why I'm asking you to do this will become clearer later on in the course, but basically it's going to help us avoid a lot of potential confusion.